Are Sheffield United in big trouble? After a 4-1 defeat at home to Bristol City, Ruben Sellers is already finding himself under pressure, and it all comes down to the decision to sack Chris Wilder despite finishing on 90 points. Chris Wilder had the third most clean sheets in the league and also the third best defence in the Championship last season. Cooper was also rated one of the best keepers in the league, having 21 Championship clean sheets last season. Despite having the biggest playoff semi-final victory in Championship history, defeating Bristol City 6-0 over two legs, they crumbled under pressure, losing late on in the playoff final versus Sunderland, which ultimately led to Chris Wilder getting sacked, which as a Hull fan, I know all about managers getting sacked unjustified. Sacking Chris Wilder was a big decision, but replacing him with Ruben Sellers was an extremely bold decision, which in my opinion will not work. As a Hull fan, I know all about Ruben Sellers. He was a very defensive man coach, which, as we saw on the opening day of the season against Sheffield United, did not prove to be true. Um, but he kept Hull City up on the final day of the season on goal difference after West Brom beat Luton 5-3. So it was a bit lucky there, and he also played very defensive in the final 10 games of the season. However, under Ruben Sellers, we had the 12th best form in the league and ultimately kept us up. So I do respect Ruben Sellers. However, I just think the Sheffield United job is a big step up, and I'm not sure if he's ready for that in his career at the minute. Sheffield United's transfer window has been underwhelming. Yes, they brought in Louis Barry, who's a quality goal scorer at Stockport, as we saw when he scored about 19 goals in like 30 games, which was ridiculous, and he was the top scorer that season until January, of course. Other than that, they only brought in two players from the Bulgarian league, a player who was at Reading last season, and a player from the Portuguese league, ultimately spending around £1 million to £2 million and a few loans. The squad has also downgraded from last season, with key players like Kiev Moore, Ryan Brewster, and also that centre-back from Bosnia, clearly showing that he's really good as he's just gone to Feyenoord. But yeah, it's quite clear that Sheffield United's squad hasn't improved from last season, especially as a new manager's come in. You know, he's going to be under a lot of pressure, especially from the Sheffield United fans so far, as I've seen on social media. He's obviously going to get stick on social media, especially after disappointing pre-season and also a very disappointing opening game of the season. Ruben Sellers is just going to have to deal with the pressure. You know, it's a big job taking the Sheffield United role, especially replacing Chris Wilder, who was very good last season. It was looking like they was going to get top two until late on in the season they kind of fell off. On another day, Sheffield United would have won the playoff final and Sheffield United would be sitting in the Premier League right now. But ultimately, as we all know, that didn't happen and Chris Wilder got sacked and got replaced with Ruben Sellers. And yeah, I think it's going to be a tough season for them personally. You know, it's difficult coming in as a new manager. But yeah, now let's specifically talk about the 4-1 defeat to Bristol City. I think what made it worse was the fact it was at home, you know, in front of the home fans. They obviously got that 3-0 defeat to Hull City at home last season. But apart from that, it was incredible at home. I think probably the top two best teams at home last season. A lot of wins, and that's why losing 4-1 on the opening day to a team that they beat 3-0 home and away last season is very disappointing. Scott Twan's free kick, as we all know, was absolutely incredible. No keeper in the world was saving that, to be honest, and there's no doubt about that. Sheffield United did show glimpses of good attacking football with Tyrese Campbell goal in the 14th minute, clearly showing what Ruben Sellers is trying to, you know, implement to the team. But defensively, there was a shambles, conceding in 26th minute, 46th minute, and 51st minute to lose 4-1. As a Hull fan, I know all about conceding in the 46th minute. Ruben Sellers was the master at that. Ruben Sellers is definitely under pressure at Sheffield United, and with their expectations, things need to change fast. Their upcoming fixtures is Birmingham in the Carabao Cup, which for me, I think they're going to lose this game maybe 1 or 2-0. As we all saw from the opening game of the season, Birmingham are definitely an exciting attacking team to watch, and I think they're going to cause a lot of problems this season. Even though it's the Carabao Cup and they'll probably rest a few players, I think Birmingham have got better squad depth in my opinion, and I think they've got more quality players. I know that is quite harsh to say, especially after Sheffield United finished on 90 points last season. But I just think Birmingham have got a lot of quality in that team, and Sheffield United haven't really improved it that much, if I'm being completely honest. And the team has arguably got worse from last season. So yeah, I think they'll lose the first game against Birmingham in the Carabao Cup, and in the next game they've got Swansea, which is a must-win game. Even though they're away, it's just a must-win game. It's that simple. Of course, Swansea lost 1-0 to Middlesbrough in the first game of the season. Realistically, if Sheffield United want to make playoffs or, in their case, automatics, then yeah, they need to be beating teams like Swansea. And then the next game after that is Millwall. Millwall, a very good victory over Norwich. I think they're going to be up there this season, definitely in around the playoff area. And definitely a team to look out for this season. So it's going to be a tough game for them at home. But realistically, like the Swansea game, if they want to make playoffs or at least automatics, for their expectations, then they need to be winning games like Swansea and Millwall. And then the next game is Middlesbrough away, which is a very difficult game. Middlesbrough, a good team. However, like Swansea and Millwall, it's another game that they really need to win. So Swansea, Millwall, and Middlesbrough, three teams who are worse than Sheffield United on paper. So if they don't get at least 7 points from these three games, then I would say that is a disappointment for them. They then got Ipswich after that, which is a very difficult game in itself. Even with Chris Wilder, that would have been a difficult game to win. So, maybe Ruben Sellers can do a masterclass and win that game. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Sheffield United lose or draw that game, as Ipswich are a quality side. Ruben Sellers definitely needs to sort the defence and tactics out, otherwise the pressure will get to him. I think I'm quite surprised with how bad the defence was against Bristol City. Of course, it's only on opening day, and as the season progresses, maybe Ruben Sellers can get better at defending, especially with Chris Wilder, having the third best defence in the league. A lot of expectations come with defending, and people just automatically expect you to get clean sheets against sides like Bristol City. I don't say Sheffield United are in big trouble, to be honest. I think the title is more just for clicks. But if they don't sort it out, then they'll definitely be in trouble this season. Especially games like Swansea, Millwall, and Middlesbrough. They're games that realistically they need to be winning at least two of them. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think Sheffield United are in trouble this season? Or do you think it was just a one-off game, with a new season underway? And if they bring in a few more signings, they'll get a lot better. If you do enjoy the video, then make sure to like and subscribe, as this is a new channel and I'm really trying to, grow the channel out and hopefully one day get to 1,000 subscribers, which is definitely a big ask. I'm aware of that. But yeah, hopefully one day I can get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'll see you in the next one.